video, we will be discussing about the previous questions on World Bank, IMF and UNCTAD. So this is also part of the Unit 9 of your syllabus portion, and based on your Unit 9, we will be discussing the questions on World Bank, IMF and UNCTAD through this video. And when we consider the previous question of June 2019 paper 2, this is a question based on the World Bank, and it is out of the following institution, or which of the following institutions is known as the soft loan window of the World Bank? To answer this question, the first thing you need to know is we need to know which all are the organizations or the groups under the World Bank group. Under World Bank group, we have 5 organizations, that is International Bank for Reconstruction and Development, International Financial Corporation, International Development Association, International Center for Settlement of Investment Disputes and Multilateral Investment Guarantee Act. These are the 5 institutions or organizations under World Bank group. So if we know this, we can easily eliminate A and D, because we know that this question is based on the soft loan window of the World Bank, and we know that IMF and ADB, Asian Development Bank, is not part of the World Bank group. So we can easily eliminate A and D, but B and C we have a confusion because both are part of the World Bank group. And when we consider B and D, let us see what is EID, International Development Agency, or which is International Development Association. IDA is known as the soft window, okay, soft window of the World Bank, of the soft loan window of the World Bank, and it was set up in the year 1960 with the aim of developing infrastructural support among the member nations and for the long-term blending of the development of economic services. Okay, so because of these reasons, because of the objective of providing in the loan for the infrastructural development and providing loan for the long-term blending of the economic services or the development of economic services, International Development Agency IDA is known as the soft window of the World Bank or soft loan window of the World Bank. So the answer is option B, International Development Agency. For the more details regarding these agency IDA and IFC, we can refer the video based on the World Bank groups. Okay, so here the answer is B, IDA. Next question, December 2018, paper 2. The following statements relate to the transnationality. Choose the correct code for statements being correct or incorrect. Okay, so this is a question related to the transnationality, and we are given with 2 statements, and both the statements are related to UNCTAD, which is the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, and we have to relate these 2 statements with reference to or relating to the transnationality, and we have to find whether it is correct. And statement 1, the UNCTAD developed an index to compare the transnationality of countries in which transnational corporations cooperate. Okay, transnational corporations operate. And statement 2, we have the UNCTAD followed parameters like FDI flow as a percentage of gross fixed capital formation, foreign direct investment inward stock, value added by foreign affiliates, and jobs created by them. Okay, so both the statements are related to the UNCTAD, and we have to find out of these 2 statements which are correct or which are incorrect. So options are related the correct and incorrect aspect of the statements. For the answer in this question, you need to know what is UNCTAD and how the transnationality aspect is related to the UNCTAD. So when UNCTAD is considered, it is United Nations Conference for Trade and Development, and it's a permanent intergovernmental body established by United Nations General Assembly in 1964. Okay, so this is a permanent intergovernmental body established by United Nations General Assembly in the year 1964, and its headquarters is located in Geneva of Switzerland, and it is having offices in New York and Addis Ababa. Okay, so this is it. So when we are considering the head office or the headquarters of this UNCTAD, it is in Geneva, Switzerland, and it also have offices in the New York and Addis Ababa. So this is a general information about what is UNCTAD. Okay, so it's an intergovernmental body established by United Nations General Council in 1964. And what is the purpose and what is done by UNCTAD? So when UNCTAD is considered, we know that because of the globalization aspect, many of the developed countries were able to get benefited out of it, and there are certain countries which were not able to get the access the benefits in a full swing or full way. So UNCTAD UNECTAD is supporting developing countries to access the benefits of a globalized economy more fairly and effectively and help equip them to deal with the potential drawbacks of greater economic integration. And this is the purpose why UNECTAD has been formed, okay, to support the developing economies to make use of the benefits of globalized economy, or to access the benefits of the globalized economy. UNECTAD is supporting the developing countries, and this is also dealing with the drawbacks of economic integration. So any sorts of drawbacks due to the economic integration is also overcome by the UNECTAD, okay. And more about the economic integration and phases of the economic integration, we have a video based on separately on economic integration. You can refer it also for the detailed understanding. And when it comes to the UNECTAD, it is also providing analysis, facilitate consensus building and offer technical assistance to the developing countries. So when UNECTAD is considered, why UNECTAD is in existence? To provide access to the developing countries, okay. So it is giving the access of globalized countries to developing countries. It is supporting the developing countries to access the benefits of globalized economy in a fair manner, and it is also helping to remove the drawbacks related to the economic integration. So any sort of drawbacks linked to the economic integration is also overcome by the UNECTAD, okay. And it is another aspect it provide, and how they are doing it, it is providing analysis, facilitate consensus building and offer technical assistance to developing countries. So when they are supporting the developing countries to overcome its constraints, this is how they help them. It is giving them technical assistance, it is giving them consensus building, it is giving them analysis, all those things for better access to the benefits of developed economies. And it is also helped them to use trade, investment, finance and technology as vehicles for inclusive and sustainable development. So in order to have an inclusive and sustainable development for developing countries, UNECTAD support developing countries to use trade, investment, finance and technology, okay. So UNECTAD supports developing country to use trade, finance, technology and investment for having inclusive and sustainable development. And coming to the question, through with this following statement we can easily answer the question related to the transnationality, because when UNECTAD is also developed an index to compare the transnationality of the countries in which transnational corporations operate, and they also followed parameters like foreign direct investment, foreign direct investment flow as a percentage of gross fixed capital formation, and FDI inward stock and value added by foreign affiliates and jobs created by them when we are considering the transnationality aspect. So both are related, both the statements given in the question are related to the transnationality, and both relates to the transnationality aspect of UNECTAD, okay. They developed an index to compare the transnationality of countries in which transnational corporations operate, and they also followed parameters like FDI flow as a percentage of gross fixed capital formation, and they also FDI inward stock and value added by foreign affiliates and jobs created by them. All these are done in order to support the developing countries to access the benefits of globalized economies and also to remove the potential drawbacks of economic integration. So both the statements given based on UNECTAD's relation to the transnationality are correct. So statement 1 and statement 2 are correct. So the answer will be C. Okay, so next question. This is a question based on International Organization of the Trade Groups, and this is not directly related to World Bank, IMF or the UNECTAD, but still let us discuss this. This is the question which was asked in July 2018, question number 95. Which trade group among the following holds Tamil as one of its official language? Options we are having: A. ASEAN, B. SAARC and C. BRICS and D. MINT. And ASEAN is Association of Southeast Asian Nations, SAARC is South Asian Association of Regional Countries, and C. BRICS is basically a combination of the countries BRICS, Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa. And MINT is basically gathering a combination of the countries Mexico, Indonesia, Nigeria and Turkey. And when SAARC is considered, the official language is English, and BRICS and MINT considered, they use the official languages as the languages which is common for these countries which are part of BRICS and MINT. Okay. But when ASEAN is considered, ASEAN is a combination of almost 10 countries and they are accepting the languages of all the countries which are part of it. Along with that, they are accepting Tamil as one of an official languages. So when we take the official languages of ASEAN, that is we are having English, Malay, Mandarin, Tamil, Thai, Vietnamese, Burmese, Filipino, Indonesian, Khmer and Lao as the 11 official languages accepted by ASEAN, and Tamil is one among it. So the trade group which accepts Tamil as one of the official languages is ASEAN. Here was the answer. Next, November 2016, question number 2017, question number 67, paper 3. And this is based on one of the organization under the World Bank Group. So under World Bank Group we discussed there will be like IBRD, IFC, IDA, MIGA and ICSID, and this is a question based on MICA, an affiliate of World Bank, and we have to find which among the following statement is addressing the aim of MICA. So MICA is Multilateral Investment Guarantee Agency, an affiliate of World Bank, aims to address which of the following. So out of the 4 options, let us read it. Option A, to promote comparative advantage among the trading nations to foster international trade. Option B, to promote a platform for dispute settlement mechanism in World Trade Guarantee. Option C, to encourage foreign direct investment in developing countries by protecting investors from non-commercial risk. And option D, to promote international trade in goods and intelligence services. Okay, so if we see the options, option A, B and D are related to the trade, and we know that the World Bank Group or IMF have established in the year 1945 as in the post-World War for having economic stability for the country. And when we consider the 4 options given, more of the options, especially A, B and D, are directly explaining the trade aspects as the aims, whereas option C states it is encouraging foreign direct investment in developing country by protecting investors from non-commercial risk. So now we will see the major aims of MIGA for answering this question. This MIGA was set up in 1988 for encouraging foreign investment in developing economies by offering insurance to foreign private investors against the loss caused by non-commercial risk, which is a political risk such as currency transfer, expropriation, war and civil disturbance. Okay, so this is the aim behind the formation of MIGA. MIGA was formed in 1988 for encouraging investment in developing economies by offering insurance or guarantee to foreign private investors against the loss caused by non-commercial risk. Any loss caused by non-commercial risk is covered by this insurance, and that is Multilateral Investment Guarantee Act. And okay, and this MIGA is developing economies by offering insurance for covering non-commercial risk. Non-commercial risk includes the political risk such as the risk associated to currency transfer, expropriation, war and other civil disturbances. So now going back to the options of the question, we have the 4 options, and option C is directly explaining the aim behind MIGA, encouraging FDI in developing countries by protecting investors from non-commercial risk, because only if you are giving such an option, it will be encouraging the foreign direct investment, because when it comes to the foreign countries, they may having a feeling that there are chances of risk for their investment. So any kind of guarantee to cover such kind of risk like offered by MIGA is encouraging FDI to have investment in developing countries. Okay, so encouraging FDI in developing countries by protecting investors from non-commercial risk like political risk or risk associated with war or civil disturbances is one of the major aims of MIGA. So answer will be C. So again, more details regarding the aims and functions of MIGA is also there in the video related to the World Bank Group. Okay, so also MIGA is also providing technical assistance to help countries disseminate information on investment opportunity. So this is basically more on the, rather than the trade aspect, they are giving more importance to the protection of commercial, protection against commercial risk, and more importance to the foreign direct investment or encouraging foreign direct investment in the developing economies, etc. Whereas all the other options were directly related to the trade aspect, and this only one option was related to the foreign encouraging FDI in the developing economies or developing countries. So therefore, definitely the answer will be C. And next question, again November 2017 paper 3. Treatise of Rome was responsible for the creation of which one of the following? So again, this question is also not directly related to the World Bank, IMF or the UNCTAD, but it is also part of one of the international organizations. So for answering this question, we should be knowing what is European Economic Community, what is GATT, what is WTO and what is GATS. Okay, so only by knowing these organizations we can answer this question. So let us first see, to answer this question we should know what is European Economic Community, what is GATT, what is WTO and what is GATS. And this question is, Treaties of Rome was responsible for creation of which of these following? Okay. So first we will see what is European Economic Community. So that is a regional organization that aimed to bring about economic integration among its member states. So in order to bring economic integration among the member states, a regional organization was formed, that is European Economic Community, and it was created as a result of Treaty of Rome of 1957. So we got the answer, right? So treaty, this Economic European Association or European Economic Community or European Economic Community was an outcome of Treaty of Rome, because it is major purpose of European Economic Community is a regional organization bringing economic integration of its member countries. And upon the formation of European Union in 1993, European Economic Community was incorporated into European Union and renamed as European Community. So with the formation of European Union, this European Economic Community integrated with the European Union and formed European Community. Okay, so what is it? The European Community or European Economic Community it was an outcome of Treaty of Rome 1957 for economic integration of the member countries. So we got the answer, but still we will see about the other options. And GATT is considered, it was signed in 1947 with 23 contracting countries as members, and it became a law in 1948, and later in 1995 GATT was absorbed to or transformed to WTO. Okay, and the major purpose of GATT was to make international trade easier. And if you come to the GATT again, the next option was GATS, General Agreement of Trade in Services. So there are like most of the times students get confused between the GATT and GATS. GATT is General Agreement on Tariff and Trade, which was the body which is initially which was a body established in the year 1947 in the post-World War period for the trade related aspect, for the better trade relation. It was later formed, became WTO. And whereas GATS, General Agreement of Trade in Services, is an outcome of 8th round of negotiation at 8th Uruguay round, and it was basically aiming the trade in agreement which provide assistance for trade in services, whereas all the other, when we are considering the General Agreement of Tariff and Trade, it was more giving importance to the trade in goods, but with the GATS, General Agreement of Trade in Services, the WTO agreement is covering services trade also. So GATT is the first multilateral agreement covering trade in services, and GATS is the first multilateral agreement covering trade in services, and it was negotiable during the last round of multilateral trade negotiation. The last round of multilateral trade negotiation is the 8th round of Uruguay. 8th Uruguay round is basically the last round of multilateral trade negotiation which decided to end up the GATT and form WTO. Okay, so this is called the last round of multilateral trade negotiation is called Uruguay round, and that case came into force. The decision GATS was came into force in 1995 with the establishment of the WTO. Okay, so that is the major difference. GATT is General Agreement of Tariff and Trade, and GATS is General Agreement of Trade in Services, and GATS is the outcome of the 8th round, the Uruguay round of negotiation, which is the first multilateral agreement covering trade in services. Okay. So now moving back to the question, we have to answer Treaties of Rome was responsible for creation of which one of the following? We know it is responsible for the creation of European Economic Community, which is later known as European Community with the amalgamation with European Union. Okay, so option A will be the answer. So this is also part of international organization, which is still the syllabus portion under Unit 9. Next question, June 2015, paper 3. Which of the following organizations play an active role to prevent the contingent situation of crisis? So we have options as IMF, World Bank, WTO and UNCTAD. So we know that the post-World War period in the year 1945, in the year 1945, two organizations have been established for economic stability. So those, as a result of Bretton Woods Conference, two organizations has been established for economic stability, and those are IMF and World Bank. And out of that, IMF was playing an active role for preventing the contagion situations of crisis. Any kind of BOP deficit or any cases of balance of payment crisis or deficit, that is overcome through the IMF. So IMF is having an active role in preventing the contagion situation of crisis, whereas World Bank is also an organization which is ensuring the economic stability with various affiliates under it like IBRD, IFC, IDA, MICA and ICSID. So they are handling with the dispute settlements, the investment guarantee measures, and they are dealing with financial cooperation, development agency, etc. But when it comes to the contagion situation of crisis, that is overcome or that is managed by International Monetary Fund, option A. So A will be the answer for this question. And about WTO, its purposes, the UNCTAD purposes, we have already discussed in the previous videos and previous questions. So that's it. So here the answer is option A, since IMF play a central role in management of BOP difficulties and international financial crisis. Next question, and this is a match the following question. We are given with list 1 and list 2 and we need to match this out. So in the list 1 we have the various UNCTAD conferences. So you know that UNCTAD is basically established in the year 1964, where basically it is supporting the developing countries to access the benefits of globalized economies and to overcome the drawbacks, potential drawbacks of the economic integration. UNCTAD has been established, and we also discussed about UNCTAD's relation to the transnationality aspect in another question, in a statement based angle. And this is a question directly related to the UNCTAD conferences and the places where these conferences have happened. And we have the list 1 and list 2. In the list 1 we have UNCTAD 1, 2, 10 and 11, and in list 2 we have the countries India, Brazil, Thailand and Switzerland. And we know that UNCTAD 1 was, the headquarters of the UNCTAD is also in Geneva, Switzerland, and UNCTAD 1 was in Switzerland, Geneva, and UNCTAD 2 was in New Delhi, India. And when it comes to the UNCTAD 10, it was basically in the Thailand itself, and UNCTAD 11 was in Brazil. Okay, so in order to answer questions like this, we will need to know the UNCTAD conferences so far and the places where it has occurred. So this question is basically on the UNCTAD 1, 2 and UNCTAD 10, 11. Like that, you can expect the questions based on other UNCTAD conferences also. So for more details, you can refer the video on UNCTAD. But now you see, UNCTAD 1 was in Geneva 1964, 2 was in New Delhi, then it was in San Diego, 4th in Nairobi, 5th in Manila, 6th in Belgrade, 7th in Geneva. Like that, we have the list of UNCTAD conferences, and now just we will refer it once again. 1 was in Switzerland, Geneva, 1 was in Geneva, that is in Switzerland, and 2 was in India, and 2 was happened in India, and it was in New Delhi, the capital of India. And when UNCTAD 10 was considered, it was in Thailand. It was in Thailand, and the place where it was in Bangkok in Thailand, where the UNCTAD 10 happened. And 11, it was considered, it was in Brazil, and it was in the Sao Paulo in Brazil. So you can expect the questions in the other names also. Instead of Brazil, they can give Sao Paulo. Instead of Thailand, they can give Bangkok. Like that also, you need to learn the location where it has happened. Similar kind of questions you can expect with the ministerial conferences of WTO also. So learn the UNCTAD conferences so far and the places where it has happened, and similarly learn the ministerial conferences associated with WTO also. You can expect questions like this. Okay, so that is it. So here with this question the answer is 4, 1, 3, 2. 4, 1, 3, 2. A will be the answer. Next question, which one of the following is not a major objective of IMF? Okay, and we have options: promoting cooperation among countries on international monetary issues, B, giving loans to countries for the purpose of economic development, C, promoting stability in exchange rate, D, promoting free mobility of capital gross countries. Okay, so for this we need to know the major objectives of the IMF, and IMF is fostering global monetary cooperation, secure financial stability, facilitate international trade, promote high employment and sustainable economic growth, and reduce poverty around the world. So these are the major objectives associated with IMF. One by one: global monetary cooperation, financial stability, facilitate international trade, promote high employment, sustainable economic growth and reduce poverty around the world. And the major aspect when it comes to the IMF is it is basically managing the BOP crisis. It's overcome the crisis faced by the countries when there is any BOP deficit or balance of payment crisis. Okay, now going back to the option, we know that promoting cooperation among countries on international monetary issue is definitely a objective. Promoting stability in exchange rate is an objective, and free mobility of capital growth countries is also an objective. See, all the directly given as the objectives itself. But when it comes to the giving loans to countries for the purpose of economic development, that is mainly related to the World Bank's objective. The loan to the countries for the economic development is a World Bank objective. So out of this, which is not the objective of IMF, is B. B will be the answer. Next question, 2013 June paper 2. Governance is a system of values, policies and institutions by which a society manages its economic, political and social affairs through interactions within and among the state, civil society and private sector, is defined by World Bank, UNDP, European Commissions and none of the above. So, to answer this question, we should know what is governance according to World Bank, UNDP and European Commission. So, now let us see it one by one. When the World Bank's aspect of governance is considered, World Bank's interest in governance derives from its concern for sustainability of the programs and projects it helps by financing. Okay, so that is the governance of World Bank, sustainability of the programs and projects World Bank supports by financing, and its bank's mandate is the promotion of sustainable economic and social development. So that is the governance of World Bank. So let's see the question. In the question it is not given, it is not related to the governance of World Bank. So we can easily eliminate option A. Okay. So when it comes to World Bank, the governance is basically the sustainability of the projects and programs it finances, and it is also related to the promotion of sustainable economic and social development. So definitely for this question the answer is not World Bank. So next we will see the governance as per UNDP. So governance of the UNDP include public administration, public services connected and sound management of resources, delivery and equitable access of public services, responsiveness to the views of the citizens and participation of the participation in decisions. In other words, governance in UNDP is including the interaction with state, civil society and private sector. So now again go back to the question. So this is directly related to the governance of UNDP, because they have given that governance is a system of values, policies and institutions by which a society manages economic, political and social affairs through the interactions within and among the state, civil society and private sector is defined by UNDP. So that is how the governance of the UNDP is basically related to the public administration and public services of the connected to the particular sound management of the resources, that it is related to the state administration, the civil society's administration, and it is related to the interaction with the state, civil society and private entities, etc. So this question is directly related to the governance of UNDP. And we will also see the European Commission's governance. When we consider the European Commission governance, it designates the body of rules, procedures and practices that relates to the way powers are exercised in the European Union, and objective is to strengthen democracy at European level and bring citizens closer to the European institution. So that is how the European Union's or European Commission governance lies in. Okay, so out of these three organizations, it's UNDP which is having the governance in a way that a system of values, policies and institutions by a society manages its economic, political and social affairs through interaction within and among the state, civil society and private sector is happening. Okay, so that is the governance of UNDP. So options B. So that is all about the World Bank's, IMF, UNCTAD and other international organizations. Like we also discussed about the European Commission and we also discussed about the UNDP as associated question. So that is all about the questions related to international organizations like World Bank, IMF, UNCTAD and some other organizations. Okay, that's all. Thank you.